What do you think about Tom Steyer? Tom Steyer,
people
smart,
don't know him enough.
He's a businessman, and he's been for impeaching Trump from the get-go.
Yes, he has.
And he seems to say the
Lot
right
of money
things
behind it.
at the right time. I think a Tom Steyer, if the country could open up their ears and actually listen to him, they might get behind a guy like that.
Well, I think that
He's
Andrew
like a Ross
Yang,
Perot.
Absolutely, but he's not doing enough to get his name known. He's got interesting points. If you hate Trump, he's right there with you.
Yep.
And he supports that full-heartedly. And you're right. He's been putting literally money out of his pocket to get this guy to fucking office.
Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard are the same. Do you realize that? Because
very similar.
If Andrew Yang is really liked by the Trump voters. So if Andrew Yang runs as an independent, Trump loses. Tulsi Gabbard is liked by the Democrats. So if Tulsi runs as an independent, the Democrats lose. And so there is an independent play there. I'm almost of the point at this point, I don't think they should let independents run in the general election. If you're not from a major party, I don't think so. Because they taint the election. They'd swing because there's a popular person that would usually win, and then you bring in a third-party candidate. That third-party candidate can just take off just enough votes in key states to make you lose.
Well, and that's how Bill Clinton got in.
Yeah, and so that's bullshit. You shouldn't be able to run these people that are going to just affect the election like that and have no real chance. I don't know that that's good for the country overall. Now, the reason that people think Tulsi is a Russian, if I can go into that, is because she was back.
And Hillary Clinton,
she
pushed this narrative.
She was going to those Russian parties before. So you know how like Michael Flynn was going to Russia and doing stuff, and everyone's like, what's going on there?
Who doesn't want to go to a Russian party?
Well, yeah, so Tulsi was doing it too. And then there's all these Russian pages and Russian bots that are pushing Tulsi and trying to push her also to do a third-party run.
Here's something interesting.
It's pretty easy for our government to track that.
These bots aren't doing very well. She's pulling at 1%.
Oh, well, you know, the social medias have done a lot to take bots down. And my company, we run bots, and our bots are in the shitter right now because there's heavy bot defense going on out there. Yeah. So I don't think the bots have the influence they used to. And you see, even like with this Ukraine thing that Trump was trying to put together, the CIA and the FBI are so deep in this election and so up Trump's ass that nobody's going to get away with shit this election. So the social media platforms are on their best behavior. The candidates are, you know, under the eye of the law. And this is going to be a real tight election. And if anybody does anything weird, they're going to get arrested.
Right. Well, again, and this is how you can fix voting, and I always point this out. So I have a receipt here. You can see up here. And this receipt has every single thing that I bought at the store. It has the address, the every bit of information, every single thing about the credit card, the time, everything. I get this itemized thing for something that means absolutely nothing. But when we vote in this country, we don't get one of these. We get no proof of what we've done. The most important thing you can do as an American, and we talked about this before, whether it's Ukraine doing it, votes are getting manipulated. It's very shameful.
It should be more public. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Yeah.
And so you should almost vote, and there should be a receipt, and then all of our votes should be online, you know, under like a small portion of our social security number, whatever, so that any lay person or any outside organization can count the votes if they want to.
Absolutely. There should be a way to do that. I don't believe Tulsi Gabbard's a Russian asset. I think it's very crazy to start insinuate that about everyone across the board. I just don't see what Russia's interest in her would be, or what she's actually undermining here.
Well, Russia has a lot of interest in her. She's a presidential candidate.
But she's polling at 1%. Like, she doesn't even have a shot.
Yeah, but if she runs as a third party, she could give Trump the election.
I don't know if she's even thinking of that, and I don't know if Yang's thinking of that. And you're right. It could sway a lot of things if they do that. We've come to see. I don't know if they're floating that idea. I mean, even Bernie doesn't do that because he knows he has to glom on to even have a shot. And side note, Trump is not a Republican, as we talked about this as well. He hijacked a party. He went more ideally now. He was totally a Democrat his whole life. He's a liberal, New York City guy. So, but he knew when he ran under the Reform Party, he couldn't get any traction, and they couldn't support him. He needed the backing of the party. So he said, I'll be a Republican, and totally stole it. He did it successfully. But if anyone thinks he's really a Republican, he's not. We know that.
He's
not a
rolled with more Democrats
but
than
that's
he
why
has with
he
Republicans
won.
in his life. He
100%.
hangs out with a lot of
100%.
Democrats, and he's donated
People
to
should
a lot
know
of
that.
Democrats. But he has donated to Republicans, too. And, like, Rudy is a staunch
Rudy's
Republican.
one. Michael Bloomberg and him got along,
Yeah,
I'm
he's
sure.
had his Republican friends, too.
Yeah. Oh, he played both sides.
One thing you got to give it to Trump is
he's a Democrat.
He's got his fingers into everything over the years. Like, he has hobnobbed. He has done dirt. He has done good things. He's been involved with charities. He's been involved with scam businesses. He's been involved with good businesses. Like, I mean, this guy's had a life.
Listen,
he's had a fucking life.
I don't understand why people knock failed business attempts. Entrepreneurs always fail.
Oh, for sure.
So the guy tried to float steaks because he knows Omaha Steaks sells a whole fucking bunch of these and made him fucking millions of dollars. So he tried it. He tried an airline. So did fucking Hooters. You know what I mean? It's what people do. They try this shit. Yeah, you throw it on the wall and sticks. Look, he plays dumb. He's not as dumb as people think. I think he's childish. I think he's very simple. I don't think he's dumb. I don't think you can accomplish what he did.
I make
being
a little
dumb.
bit different twist on it. I think he is dumb, but he's experienced. So he doesn't know a lot about the world. He doesn't understand the ins and outs of like pulling troops out of Syria or different things like that.
Right.
Because he just doesn't really care. He's a guy that is about his ego, you know. So he's probably spent his life chasing women and going to restaurants and buying things and doing business and whatever. And he hasn't put a lot of time into like historical reading or thinking or keeping up with the news. He's very a surface reader, if you will.
Probably don't know that much about Syria.
He's been in business for a goddamn long time, and he's lost a lot of money and he's made a lot of money.
Sure.
And that kind of experience is worth its weight in gold, and that's what keeps him afloat. He knows how to manipulate the media too. He has a shit ton of experience manipulating media. He's been doing that his whole life.
Everyone loved him till he ran for politics. Remember that?
When he was a Howard Stern guest, he was great. We loved him as a Howard Stern.
The rappers rapped about him. Hollywood loved him. The Clintons, he was at their fucking wedding.
Yeah, but that's because the presidency is supposed to be reserved for honorable men, and he's a dishonorable man, and he shouldn't be in that office, and that was a bridge too far for his ego, and he shouldn't have done it.
You can make a case that he is not the most honorable man. He is not a polished, slimy Joe Biden, 50 years manipulating the system fucking motherfucker.
But that's different, though, because those guys have an interest. So if you have a vested interest to get into politics, if you're fighting for someone or something, which I believe Joe Biden is, though he's probably made many mistakes.
Like what, putting people in jail with mandatory minimums? Trump's not fighting for anybody but
himself. That's all he cares about.
I don't believe that.
Trump doesn't have a banner or a cause. He doesn't really give a fuck. You know
America.
Oh, please.
That's why you're making America great again.
If you really wanted to make America great again, he would reform immigration and things that really made America great.
We should do that.
I got a guy that came to my pool the other day.
How about the Democrats ain't doing that either, right?
Detection test. He must have been an immigrant, I'm assuming. He seemed a foreigner. He spoke broken English. This guy, it's cold out. He jumps in my pool in a wetsuit, goes around, does this leak detection thing, charges me next to nothing. And I thought to myself, would an American ever do this job? Would an American jump in my cold pool in winter and go around and do a leak detection test? No, I don't think they would. And so if you really care about America, then you care about immigration because you need those immigrants to fuel the economy.
Oh, make immigration easier by all means. And you could how about we make an agreement? And this is what we should, and this is why we have a problem in this country where everyone should agree on this. Completely stop illegal immigration the best you can, whether it's a wall, whatever. Stop it immediately. It is a problem. Let's agree with that, which we can't do. And immediately fix the legal system, make it cheaper, make it shorter, and find a way to vet where we know you're not an MS-13 and you're that guy who will get in that pool. Well, and by all means, bring them in. I have no problem with that.
And what about probation? We use probation on Americans all the time for doing the slightest thing. Kid smokes a joint, slap him on probation for 2 years. Now he's got prison hanging over his head. How about probation for immigrants? So come to this country, be good for 2-3 years, be a participant, have a job, pay your taxes, you're good. Guess what? Don't pay your taxes, commit a couple crimes, get 100%. A couple DWIs, get the fuck out.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. That should be streamlined. When Trump even threw out the term merit-based, I thought that was fair. Now, who determines the merits, I don't know. We can hash that out. I'm going to
surprise you on that. I think merit-based is fair, too. Our whole economy is based on merit-based.
This is kind of a lottery situation, right?
Why wouldn't we do merit-based? If I want to come to America, I should have to have some sort of talent or something. There's a lot of people in the world or whatever, and that's how we should be able to bringing in, computer engineers, coders, doctors.
Don't you want the best of the best?
If you have some talent or skill, then you should be on the hot list to get in the country over like somebody who's doesn't have any skills.
How about this? We do that with lungs and hearts and kidney
But now you should still bring in regular people, too. There has to be a segment of regular 100%. People that's allotted. But doctors and talented people should get preference.
All regular folks should have a shot, and we should streamline it. If you're not a criminal, you want to raise a family, you're willing to play by the rules, learn some of the shit, which most Americans don't even know. My mother-in-law, Filipino immigrant, had to do it. My brother-in-law, Brazilian immigrant, had to do it. I have two people directly involved in my life that did it the legal way and paid money to do this.
My family came in through Ellis Island.
So
they
same
did
theory.
The legal way.
It can be done. Make it easier. But by all means, stop saying everyone should be allowed or entitled to be here. You're not. You even use the term, this is a lottery. You got the birth lottery when you were born in the United States.
You get
it
the
really
birth lottery.
is. We
Genetic
shouldn't
lottery.
be able to say that every fucking place in the world should just be able to come here willy-nilly. No. When, in fact, you can't do that anywhere else. Now, if the whole world was doing that, I would look at it differently. When no one else is doing that, let's be pragmatic and practical here.
I can agree with that. And the other thing that I have a little bit of beef with on immigration is I don't think you should be able to come here, go to college, and leave after. If you come here to go to college, then you need to stay. I mean, we can't force you to stay.
Carpetbagger colleges?
You have to become a citizen. We shouldn't just be educating people and then sending them back.
Fuck no.
That's not a good thing. So I don't like carpetbag colleging.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Like, well, he's got his little green card to go to college for 4 years. No, fuck that. If you're going to let him go to college here for 4 years, then we should have a process to make him a citizen so that after we educate him, he stays.
There's nothing wrong with streamlining this. But this is something the Democrats aren't doing either. You know why? Because they're so bent on giving everything to illegals and so bent on worrying about that it's now a crime to even call someone an illegal alien. That's going to be a fucking crime. Imagine that.
And listen to me, Democrats, on this one. That is the biggest mistake. Democrats thought that Spanish people, which is a growing population, and immigrants in general, would vote for us if we supported illegal immigration. But when I talked to my Italian family that came in from Ellis Island, they hate illegal immigration because they did it the right way. So illegal immigrants can't vote. Legal immigrants can. So when you support illegal immigration, you piss off the legal immigrants, actually, and it backfires on you. And it's also indefensible in these debates.
When you are the same person that gets mad that someone cut you in line at the water fountain when you were a child, when you're the same person who gets mad that someone cut you in front of a green light, when you're the same person that someone cut you in front of the line at the movies, and you want illegals in here cutting the line in front of good people, go fuck yourself. Let's go to a break.
On that note.